everybody. I'm Eric Rieker, Associate Professor and Field Specialist in Farm Management with the Ohio State University Department of Extension. Today, I'd like to share with you the 2024 Ohio Commercial Pumpkin Budget. We had been receiving requests for a commercial pumpkin enterprise budget for the last several years and finally put one together, and I'd like to share it with you here and how to find it on our website. The pumpkin production budget is really based on as standardized as possible, a jack-o'-lantern pumpkin enterprise with a mixed grain and pumpkin operation. The enterprise budget is formatted in a spreadsheet. It is in Excel, but can be used in Google Docs or other spreadsheet softwares that you have. Let me show you where to find the document first and foremost, so that if you'd like to stop your video, download the Excel document while we're going through it in this video, you can do so. The enterprise budgets for Ohio State are found on farmoffice.osu.edu. If you click on the Farm Management tab in the drop-down window, you will see enterprise budgets. Once you click on enterprise budgets, it'll pull up all of our enterprise budgets that we update on an annual basis, as well as some that are stored somewhat historically. You will see in 2024, one of the last budgets we wrote was the commercial pumpkin production budget. Once you click on that file, you can download it and save it locally to your computer so that you can use it year over year or as needed. The reason for creating this tool was to help growers understand their cost of production, both from a preseason basis and also as an actual cost of production calculator in season. So the question is always thrown out, do you know your cost of production for any given year? This tool, we hope, will help you find those answers. By the time you get to the end of the document, you'll be able to calculate your cost per acre and your cost per ton or cost per bin. We like to calculate cost per acre because we can know that number earlier as we secure inputs and pre-buy inputs. We also like to know that number from a cash flow perspective and for a finance or lender perspective. We know that cost per acre can be modified right up until the very last input cost is provided into this enterprise budget. If you don't have any of those costs on a projection basis, you can use your 3-year history of production and then make real-time actual adjustments as you get more and more familiar with the tool. Towards the end of your production cycle, you will want to know on a more precise basis your cost per ton, or in some cases, a cost per bin in a pumpkin enterprise budget. We know this more accurately at harvest, and we can use it as a marketing number. So how do you calculate cost per ton in preseason? Again, use estimated average yields or 3-year trends, if you will. And after harvest, you can use actual yields to get a very precise cost per ton or cost per bin. Cost per acre or cost per ton is not more important than the other. Both are very important. Both can be estimated in advance, and both can be estimated at season's end to get a very, very precise year-end cost of production numbers. Let's look at the document. Maybe you have it in front of you on your screen, but it starts out with receipts at the very top of the budget. And I'm going to refer to kind of this trend line yield, if you will. So this center of the 3 white columns, where we reference 5 tons per acre, 10 tons per acre, and 15 tons per acre. I'll get to the your budget column in just a little bit, but in an attempt to standardize our commercial production budget, we have used 10 tons or approximately 27 bins per acre and calculated the cost of production for a standardized operation. Again, I encourage you to use the very right-hand column and those cells that are yellow to enter in your own numbers or your own estimates, and they will calculate all of the blue numbers that are on that right-hand side. What's unique about our receipts line items is that we at Ohio State offer you to enter in a percentage of spoilage and also divide up your yield in perhaps different sales categories into retail, wholesale, or other sale methods. Maybe you use a CSA method, maybe you sell at a very specialized market, and those can be priced in a different price point. So we find that has been very useful for growers. It calculates up then your total receipts based on your anticipated tons per acre yield, or else the yield that you provide in your budget in that very last column. That is the receipts. We begin on the variable costs, and when we look at variable costs, one of the nice things about our budgeting tool is that we offer growers the opportunity to put in between row spacing and an in-row spacing of how often or what their seeding population will be. It calculates up that per acre seeding rate, and then it calculates the cost per 1,000 seeds based on what you enter in the footnotes as your seed cost per pound and per unit. Additionally, offers you the opportunity to adjust fertilizer application rates based on your soil test results and your agronomic situation. So you can go through, and generally that's applied to all three categories: Ohio average, as well as a little bit below and a little bit above those three columns. We jump to the next slide down. It gets into a little bit more detail. And again, I have highlighted in the red box kind of this standardized trend line yield for Ohio and jack-o'-lantern pumpkins. Gives you the opportunity to go through and detail out how many applications you are making of herbicide, insecticide, and fungicide, as well as how many applications will be custom sprayed. And we're referencing in that spray category the custom rates that are up to date with Ohio, approximately $9.89 per acre. Again, this is what our integrated pest management folks suggested was a fair herbicide, insecticide, and fungicide program. You can always adjust these applications, these modes of action if you want. And in the fourth column where the blue numbers are, you can type in your cost per ounce or your cost per acre of particular applications or particular products that are used. Additionally, we know that some growers do use pollinators. That may or may not fit every grower situation, and certainly hired labor is a big cost to a pumpkin enterprise, and so you may have more or less hours of labor in your column than what we've standardized in this enterprise budget. And your bin costs may be different as well. So just a sampling of some costs that you can adjust all the numbers that are in yellow. Some of those in the custom rates are adjusted in the footnotes that are on the back page of the pumpkin enterprise budget. Then we get down to the bottom, the total variable costs, and those are priced out on a per acre on the top line, a per ton, and a per bin calculation based on a standardized bin calculation of 0.375 tons per bin. And that may not be exactly accurate for everyone, but that was some grower input that we received that helps us convert tons into bins and bins into tons. The fixed costs are kind of at the bottom of the page, and that includes things like owner-operator labor charge for what you work as an individual owner-operator. The management charge is a standardized farm business analysis number of 5% of gross income. So that number goes back to the top gross income number that's in the receipts lines at the top of the budget. There's also machinery and equipment charge for owned machinery and equipment that are attributed to the pumpkin enterprise budget. And then land charge is based on the Western Ohio land rents and values on poor, medium, and high quality land. And every land charge is very unique, so this may or may not fit your individual situation. It then sums up the total fixed costs, eventually adds up the total costs that are associated with this budget, and calculates them on a per acre, per ton, and per bin cost of production. And so my question to you is, in our standardized budget for 2024, are you better or worse than $3,711 per acre, $371 per ton, or approximately $139 per bin? So something to evaluate yourself on. Give us some feedback as well as we continue to improve and revise this budget. The last line items on the front page are return above variable costs. Probably the most popular line is it, and the return above total costs. And so you can see on an average yielding pumpkin situation, the return above variable costs is approximately $3,700, and the return above total costs is approximately $2,635 per acre. All of these return above numbers at the bottom 6 lines are all on a per acre basis. Finally, there's a lot of important information in the footnotes, including things like what are you paying per cost of seed, what are you paying per ton basis for key fertilizer nutrients, and what are the current Ohio Farm custom rates for herbicide, insecticide, and fungicide application. So a lot of good detail in the footnotes, helps explain what's going on in the slide itself. Again, want to overemphasize to you that 3 columns at the 5 ton, 10 ton, and 15 ton per acre kind of columns are somewhat standardized columns for Ohio. You may find that your budget has a different yield, has a different input value, and the place to change that is in the yellow cells, and then it calculates into the blue cells, and the gray cells are for you to key punch as you see fit. And that pretty well wraps up the 2024 Ohio commercial pumpkin budget. This enterprise budgeting tool for pumpkins would not be possible without my colleagues Jim Jasinski, Rob Leeds, Logan Minter, and Barry Ward. Should you have any questions or comments, don't hesitate to email me at reeker.5@osu.edu. Thanks again. I hope you find this tool beneficial.